The viral video changed a young man's life forever, but maybe not in the way you may think.
It was definitely a whirlwind. I mean, it was a lot of interviews and things.
And he didn't stop there. This year, leading his high school football team into the playoffs. A quarterback with a rare talent. But will it be enough?
And I'm telling you, right, if he has two arms, he's a top 150 prospect in the nation, right? He's 6'5", he's got a huge lower body, he's got an arm that can throw it 70 yards.
Unsure of his future, but thankful for the gifts in his past that got him here. Trashaun and his support team take us to the heart of his story.
I had an ultrasound, and I thought everything was fine. I go home and I get a call from the doctor saying they didn't think they saw two arms, which was obviously devastating. You know, as an adult, most of us have two arms, so thinking, how is my child going to complete tasks on a daily basis with only one arm was really devastating. We had to go back for a more, I don't know if in-depth ultrasound is what you would call it, but and that just confirmed that he just did only have one arm, and that he was diagnosed with amniotic band syndrome.
Then when the baby was born and you got to hold him, what came to mind?
He was perfect. I mean, all babies are perfect, but I mean, everything was fine. Knowing he was healthy otherwise, and knowing it could have been more devastating than just his arm brought a lot of relief.
Her little boy started to grow up.
You know, a lot of people didn't even notice that he only had one arm. I mean, I don't think it was until he probably got a little bit older and was more active or going to school that people noticed.
Did you guys have to have those conversations at home about, hey, this is what you have, this is how we're dealing with it?
We probably did. I don't really remember. But he's such a resilient kid that I don't ever remember a time of him thinking he can't do something.
Trashaun knew he was different, but couldn't quite understand what the big deal was.
No, I was just more like confused, like why people were so like judgmental from first sight, like looking at me all weird and stuff, like they've never seen it before, like they see some sort of zombie. But I mean, I got over it. I start messing with people sometimes, waving it around.
He was about to get many more looks when in 8th grade, one moment, one action was about to change everything.
Started recording them because I know when I played, I had newspaper clippings to remember it by, so some of the parents appreciate it, and I just started watching it then.
Jeff Mills has been videotaping Trashaun for years. His son is a teammate.
What kind of stuff did you see with him that made you think that he's kind of an elite athlete, if you will?
Well, the first thing was in 8th grade when he stole the ball and took it all the way full court and threw the dunk down. It was just like, holy cow.
The move, the drive, the power, the dunk, when fired.
When he first went viral, that if we can change the life of one kid or one person, then all this has been worth it, and it's been worth it.
Now people were sure talking about the boy with one arm, but for a whole new reason. His athleticism and character took center court.
It was definitely a whirlwind. I mean, it was a lot of interviews and things, but we got to meet a lot of nice people and some professional basketball players, so that was fun.
But how would that change him? A moment of fame on the internet, posing with pros and figures larger than life. How would the young man and his family react to all this attention? he kept working, playing with everything he had, using that newfound notoriety to reach out to others, some just like him.
I saw the picture of you and a little boy without his arm. How do moments like that make you feel?
That was great. That was for sure a good experience. Yeah, that kid, he's from Des Moines, and it was when my basketball story blew up and I got the dunk, and his mom contacted my coach at the time, and then we ended up hooking up and just hanging out, and we actually became really close friends. And I just gave him words of encouragement because he was kind of, I mean, he had it, I don't want to say he had it rough, but he had a tough time understanding why he was born with one arm, and I just told him that God had a plan for him. He made him that way for a reason, and that don't let anyone belittle him. And I think he took it to heart. I mean, he started wrestling and he loves it, yeah.
And do you think that through that inspiration, right? I mean, you're inspiring him. That's one kid that you meet. There's countless out there that are seeing your story and say, man, I'm going to try something. I'm going to do something in life, and I'm not going to let this keep me back. That's got to make you feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah. And on Instagram, I'll get like messages of like people that send me stuff, and they'll just say how much of an inspiration I am, and how there's a bunch of people with like disabilities like me, but let's say it would be like a leg or like cerebral palsy, but they always say I encourage them to try their best and to go out for things, and yeah, it means a lot to me.
You must be so proud as you're watching him, and not just the hoopla about the kid with one arm playing football, doing well, or slam dunking the basketball.
Right.
But your son overcoming adversity and being like, bring it on, let's live this life.
I mean, that right there just explains Trashaun in a nutshell. I mean, that's just the kid he is.
And as a mom, though, you had to have helped him with that, because, you know, some people look at a disability, if you will, as just that and say, hey, I can't do stuff because of this. He obviously doesn't have that mentality, so that has to be coming from you.
I hope so. I hope he says that. I would like to think so, yeah. I mean, there was never a time where I babied him and told him, oh, you only have one arm, you better not do that. There was never that time.
And if you thought he was done, well, he was just getting started.
But now it's like on a nightly basis when I'm watching him play, he does something that leaves my jaw drop. So.
And there's a spirit, there's a spark inside him too, right? That makes him unique and stand out.
Mm-hmm, for sure. He's just, he's a leader. And he's on the field, off the field. He's just a good kid.
You know, I think the biggest thing you get from Trashaun is just limit your excuses, right? I mean, your excuses are invalid. I think he like epitomizes those that say they can and those that say they can't are both probably right.
Coach Harris has been head coach here for the past 3 years.
You know, he's just one of those guys where, you know, he just does it. You know, and I think that's something as coaches we've always talked about is, you know, we can't project our limitations onto him, right? Because he constantly is exceeding everyone's limitations of who he is and what he can do. Well, Trashaun's a special human being. You know, obviously that's why you guys are here, but he's just, he's such a great kid. I can't say enough about what a good kid he is. You know, and you know, he's a great leader. He's talented. He's athletic. He's affable. He's one of, you know, in a world where teenagers are so angsty and short, and it's hard to really communicate with kids. Like, he looks you right in the eye, he smiles when he talks to you. You know, he's just an upstanding, high character kid, and then he's just a tremendous athlete and leader for us. And he just happens to have one arm, and he's just an inspiration.
Doing things with one arm that most can't do with two.
What are your dreams? What do you want to do?
Right now I'm set to be a psychologist. I want to major in psychology, but I'd love to play football. Yeah, I love football.
Loves football and everything about it.
Team bond. I love playing with my guys on Friday nights. I mean, the crowd, the community, everything is just great.
But it's going to take a lot more to make that happen at the next level. It's going to take someone who sees beyond what he doesn't have. See that he has so much more.
I hope he gets that opportunity with some of these D1 coaches, right? Because they all have these prototypes that they want to put people into a box, right? And I'm telling you, right, if he has 2 arms, he's a top 150 prospect in the nation, right? He's 6'5", he's got a huge lower body, he's got an arm that can throw it 70 yards. And it's just, college sports are such big money, and if this recruit doesn't pay off, I understand it's your job, but I just think if you would bring a kid like that in, he'd be, first of all, he'd be the face of your college. It's like, how does that not raise everyone else's level to see a young man out there competing the way he does and his athleticism and what he does in spite of his disabilities?
From that dunk in the 8th grade to the charge into the playoffs, and into the hearts of everyone he has touched along the way, whatever happens next will no doubt be faced with confidence and rare humility in someone with his skills.
It's something we talk about a lot is, humility's a big deal for our program, or at least we try to make it a big deal. God is opposed to the proud and gives grace to the humble, and I think he's one of those kids that epitomizes that. Like, he's been getting a lot of attention for a long time, and he's still one of the guys. He understands that no one gets anywhere in football by themselves. It takes 11 guys to go out there and make a play happen.
Or in life, a grounding that started at home.
We're just a regular family, with regular kids, regular jobs. We're just who we are.
That has already helped him accomplish things no one thought were possible.
I want him to go be the best human being he can be. And if he continues to have the same attitude and perseverance that he has now, I have no worries.
What's the worst part of having one arm, and then what's the best part of all this?
The worst part of having one arm, there's no bad things, but it's probably just not being able to cut my own steak. That's the one thing I can't do, is just cut a steak. And the best thing, you asked?
Yeah.
I don't know, my inspiration to people. Without this, without my arm, I wouldn't be who I am today. It really has shaped me and made me who I am.
Enjoy this story? Subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with friends. The Heart of the Story with Gary Metivier